Freeze dryers are becoming very popular in our days because people like taking food on hikes, like what you've seen on stores. We also have a lot of people that are preparing for emergency. So people used to freeze dryer their foods to use it for their storage. So when we use a freeze dryer, there's gonna be different temperatures level. It's gonna start at -20 Fahrenheit, and through the whole process of freeze drying food, there's gonna be some changes in the temperature. This is why it is important to know that when you freeze dry food, it's not gonna get rid of bacteria. It's not recommended to do raw meats because of this, but if you do it, please make sure that you label your meat so that you know that it's raw and you still have to cook your food. We have seen this in the store where there's freeze-dried food ready to go in a camp or to use for storage. Unlikely food dehydrators, this machine freezes the food first, and through a process called sublimation, the vacuum will go ahead and take the water from the food and make it into gas. That will help preserve the flavor of the food, and it will be better than dehydrators because the food will preserve better. After that, the machine will slowly start changing temperature again to make sure that all the water is taken from the food, whatever's left from water, until the food is ready. This is an example of some freeze-dried meat. Just to make sure this has been cooked before and then freeze-dried. When we prepare our food to get it freeze-dried, it's important to know that it has to be 1/2 inch or less than that thin. If it gets too thick, it's gonna be harder to freeze-dry it. Something important as well is that it has to be spread out on the tray. It can't be on top of each other because then that creates the same thing of having some food that it's really thick. And another important thing to note is that it doesn't matter if the food is sticking to the tray. In the end, it's not gonna stick because all the water is gonna be taken out. And compared to using a dehydrator, the food is gonna continue to have the same thickness and the same flavor because just the water is taken out. It's not like if you do it super thin, it's gonna come to crumbs. The ideal package would be a Mylar bag along with an oxygen absorber. As we can see here, our food lasts longer, and we can make sure through that oxygen absorber that it doesn't get any air or any humidity. We are lucky that here in Utah we don't have a lot of humidity, so we don't have to worry a lot about that. It's important to know how to store our food after we freeze dried. Depending on the time we want it to last, we can use different things to store our food. The preferably one is the Mylar bags along with the oxygen absorbers. This, as you can see in the store bags spot, is gonna make our food last longer, and the oxygen absorber is gonna take all the oxygen away. However, this doesn't stop our food from getting the humidity and getting moisture again. Just make sure that when you use it all and don't reuse it later. Another way to store our food is through glass jars. This is gonna be really important to use an oxygen absorber as well, but know that your food's not gonna last as long as using a Mylar bag. When we set up the machine, there are different options. There is a customized option if we know the volume of the food that we're putting and we know how long it needs to freeze dry, then we can enter it manually. Cleaning our machine is pretty easy. We just have to make sure that it's fully clean before we use it again. Because we have residue from what we have done in the past, we need to use water that's mildly soap. Make sure that everything is completely clean and wiped before you use it again. Because if there's some residues left, your food is gonna taste like soap, and that's not good. And just to give you an idea of how long it took to freeze dry these foods, it was about 24 hours. And even after that, we can see that the ice cream did really well, but the mayonnaise, it's still sticky. It doesn't matter how long you get these foods that are high in fats and oils to freeze dry, they're not gonna be able to get as good as others that don't have that consistency. Another important thing about freeze drying foods is that because we have different trays, we wanna try to do foods that go well together, like fruits with fruits or vegetables with vegetables. We don't wanna do bananas and onions, because that is gonna taste disgusting, especially because we're freeze drying everything together and the smell or the taste of each food is gonna be combined. Something else that you can use to sanitize your machine after you have cleaned it is isopropyl or ethanol. Make sure that you never use bleach because that's gonna kill the machine, it's gonna corrode it, and it's gonna take away some of its life.